Flavius Gratianus Augustus was born in 359 in the city of Sirmium, capital of the Diocese of Pannonia and one of the major cities of the Roman Empire at the time. He ruled the Western Roman Empire from 375 to 383, and despite his short reign and premature death, Gratian made a series of decisions that would continue to shape the new Christian future of Rome. He was son to Valentinian I, who ruled with an iron fist the Roman Empire alongside his brother Valens from 364 to 375. Valentinian was a strong ruler who successfully defended the empire from its external enemies and managed to preserve peace inside his domain. Although a Christian, he proved to be tolerant towards his pagan subjects, something that Gratian did not inherit. His educational years were supervised by the great Gallo-Roman poet Ausonius, one of the most respected intellectual figures of his time and of the whole late antique period. After the death of Valentinian, Gratian, now 16 years of age, reigned in the West alongside his infant brother Valentinian II, who was only 4 years old when he was elevated by the general Merobotus of Frankish ancestry due to the absence of his older brother. Their uncle Valens maintained command over the East, facing with success the attacks of the Sasanian Empire of Shapur II and the usurpation of Procopius. The first great event that the young emperor lived in the purple was the disastrous imperial defeat at Adrianople in 378, in which his uncle Valens found death against the Gothic hordes. Gratian commanded an important army to aid his uncle in the offensive against the barbarians, but after ill counseling, Valens underestimated the forces of the invaders and decided to strike alone, being decisively defeated. With the death of Valens, the Eastern Empire needed a new ruler. Gratian, now sole and senior emperor of the whole Roman world, chose Theodosius, a successful Hispano-Roman general, as the new Eastern Augustus in 379. Theodosius proved to be an efficient ruler, dealing with the various invaders of the eastern half of Rome and establishing a dynasty that would last until 457. As his father, Gratian continued to defend the borders of the empire. For example, in 379, he obtained a decisive victory against the people of the Lentienses, a branch of the Alemanni which literally erased them from history. Orosius tells us that 30,000 barbarians were killed. In 380, Gratian, alongside his eastern colleague Theodosius, issued the Edict of Thessalonica, which established the Nicene Christian faith as the only official religion of Rome, leaving behind the ancient Roman pagan religion, which was still practiced by an important faction of the population despite being losing adepts to Christianity for decades. Paganism, though, was not the only religion outlawed. Other Christian heretic denominations, such as Arianism or Donatism, were also forbidden and prosecuted. In the same fashion, Gratian further sought to cut the ties that the Roman state held with paganism. Thus, in 382, he retired the Altar of Victory from the Senate House. The pagan senators, which were still many, were outraged at this decision. Quintus Aurelius Symmachus, a respected senator and statesman, emerged as the leader of the pagan senatorial faction and held intense dialectical disputes with Christian scholars and personalities such as Saint Ambrose of Milan. Symmachus addressed a speech to Emperor Valentinian II to demand the restoration of the altar, as he says in this fragment, "Why is so friendly with the barbarians as not to require an altar of victory? We will be careful henceforth and avoid a show of such things, but at least let that honor be paid to the name which is refused to the goddess, your fame, which will last forever, owes much and will owe still more to victory. Let those be adverse to this power whom it has never benefited. Do you refuse to desert a patronage which is friendly to your triumphs? That power is wished for by all, Let no one deny that what he acknowledges is to be desired should also be venerated. Despite his immense effort to restore the altar, the emperors did not cede to the demands of the pagans, and as such, the idol would never return to the Senate house except for a brief time during the usurpation of the Eugenius between 392 and 394. However, most importantly, Gratian was the last Roman emperor to hold the title of Pontifex Maximus. Because of the connections that this honor held with paganism, Gratian decided to drop it from his list of dignities. He thus ended a lineage that was as old as Rome herself, for this authority dated to the semi-mythical times of the Roman kingdom. The Pontifex Maximus was Rome's highest religious authority. Nevertheless, as a side note, it was not the head priest of Roman religion, for that was reserved for the Rex Sacrorum. In time, this dignity fell to the bishops of Rome, the popes. Gratian's military policies proved to be effective, as is evident with his numerous victories. However, his downfall was nearby. The reasons are not yet clear, but somehow, the young emperor angered the army, which started seeing him as a tyrant. It is said that his bodyguard corps was conformed mainly of Alans, a barbarian people which he recruited during the wars against the Goths, leaving thus the rest of the army alienated. Be that as it may, in 383, Gratian received the discouraging news of a revolt in the provinces of Britannia, led by a Hispano-Roman general, Magnus Maximus, who knew how to use the anger of the army to his benefit and proclaimed himself emperor. Gratian was in Lugdunum, modern-day Lyon, at the time, and Maximus disembarked in Gaul in order to fulfill his ambitions in the purple. When Maximus's army was near the city, Gratian's army, led by the untrustworthy Marabods, who years earlier proclaimed Valentinian II without imperial permission, abandoned him and joined the usurper, leaving the emperor only with his 300 Alan bodyguards, who protected him in his retreat. They were, though, caught, and Gratian was put to death on the 25th of August of 383. Maximus then ruled the West, alongside Valentinian II, Gratian's brother, who was more a puppet than anything else. In Constantinople, things didn't change, for Theodosius was still ruling the eastern half of the empire. That's it for today, but don't worry, we're just getting started. Thanks for joining this historical ride, and get ready for more fun facts and stories in the next video. See you soon, time travelers.